5 teenagers arrested, allegedly with illegal guns here in Indianapolis. The brackets are out. March Madness is about to get started, and we got a snow globe underway in downtown Indianapolis on what is going to be a chilly Monday evening. Welcome inside the comfy confines. Sean and Swan here with you on this Monday night. How was your weekend?
It was nice.
Yeah,
it really was. Saturday certainly was.
Right.
We enjoyed the sunshine.
That was nice.
Kids were a little disappointed. I told them we might not, because they get to the point where they're on their phone, their tablets.
Yeah.
And they have the app, which
okay.
I call the crap app. Dad,
really?
Did you know it was going to snow tomorrow? I'm like, yeah.
You called it, because I remember Friday night you're like, look, the snow that we get is just going to be on the grass, road's not a problem. I went to church Sunday morning, it's exactly the way it was.
And there was a fine line,
right,
too, where it was just more of a cold rain, and then I think your area, Hancock County, Madison County, was right in the bullseye here.
Right.
So all of us are in the bowl tonight.
Okay.
Let's show you what's going on with live Doppler 13 radar. And I will tell you, I think this is because these things are going to be persistent for the next several hours. They're running almost parallel to I-65 and I-74 in some locations. Temperatures are going below freezing. So this may be a situation by tomorrow morning. Some of these bridges and overpasses could get a little slick. So, but boy, oh boy, how about a rude awakening? We knew it was coming too.
Yep, we did.
Knew this was going to be a wintry Monday. We are right at 30 degrees now. So these bands are coming off of Lake Michigan of this real bitter cold for this time of year. Keep in mind our average high is 51. We were at 34 for a high today. That's usually what we expect for a low temperature. Wind chills are an issue as well. And by the time we get to tomorrow morning, anywhere from about 10 to 15 on the wind chill. I still think we're going to have these lingering flurries and snow showers before about 10 o'clock. And then as we get into the afternoon, it should be a much, much better day.
Okay.
A lot of sunshine to finish. And the warmest will be it's going to be a situation where the coldest is yet to come and the warmest yet to come. Okay,
wow.
Yes.
You know, the other thing about tomorrow that I wanted you to at least mention, we've got this important thing that we need to be doing tomorrow.
Yes.
Practice run for.
Boom. Thanks for queuing me up. I have the graphic. Despite the fact that it looks and feels like January, as we get into the middle of March and April, May, and probably the early parts of June, that is our, when we get most of our severe weather. This is Severe Weather Preparedness Week. Tomorrow, statewide tornado drill at 10:15 in the morning. So how that works is the National Weather Service, all the emergency managers, they start to go through their communication systems, makes everything work. That's a good time for you to go through your safety plan. If you don't have one, just make one. Wherever you are, whatever building you're in, know where the safest spot is.
And again, will people be hearing the tornado sirens tomorrow as a test?
They will hear the sirens. As I always like to point out, those are outdoor sirens for a reason. Don't rely on those. Have multiple ways. We always say this is a great tool, but also a NOAA weather radio. You can't replace that. Those are nice as well.
All right, weather radio, the app is good, and if you hear it at 10:15, it's practice.
You'll know what's going on.
That's right.
As the snow might be flying around.
That's right. All right, we'll get back to Sean in a moment. Do want to turn our attention to one of the big stories we've been covering today. I don't know if you saw the news earlier today, but IMPD has arrested 5 teenagers in connection with what they believe was going to be a retaliatory shooting over near Howe, because you remember last week there was that shooting at the former Howe High School, and they found some teens with what police are describing as illegal weapons that John Duran filed in his report today. Let's watch.
Police say a Saturday night arrest stemmed from a deadly shooting that happened last week.
Too often, we're responding to violent crime. And this is just an excellent example of our officers and detectives working proactively to prevent what clearly could have been a tragedy.
5 teens were taken into custody after a traffic stop near Washington and Riley.
We don't know what type of violence could have been prevented. We can't prove a negative. right? But clearly an individual who is making threats of retaliation for another shooting and then his possession of illegal firearms is concerning.
Court documents say police were closely watching Kintavian Lowe. They say he made multiple threats of violence on his Instagram page against the suspect in the shooting death of Walker Watley.
There was some type of retaliation plan for reference to shooting. Our officers and detectives recovered 4 firearms that were illegally possessed, 2 which had machine gun conversion devices, and 2 of which had obliterated serial numbers. You do the math.
IMPD says the suspect in Watley's death was questioned and released from custody. Police say they were keeping a close eye on a vigil for Watley outside former Howe High School on Saturday night and arrested 5 people with several guns shortly after.
In this case, we have pretty clear evidence that what was being planned or anticipated to occur was retaliation for a different shooting. And it's very likely that our officers and detectives prevented that from taking place.
Lowe and 3 others are facing preliminary felony charges. In Indianapolis, John Duran, 13 News.
All right, thanks so much, John. And coming up tonight on 13 News at 11, a couple of stories we want to let you know about. For you folks who live over in the Speedway area, you've seen this hotel that's been sort of at a standstill. It looks like it's being built and then nothing happens. Well, the Speedway Town Council is working through some issues. Is there going to be a roadblock in this hotel being finished in the town of Speedway? Lauren Kostick will handle that. And then 45 pounds of meth discovered in bags out at Indianapolis International Airport tonight. And our Rachel Krause has that story all coming up tonight at 11. All right, let's focus in on basketball because, look, this is what we do here. March Madness here in Indiana. We've got the local teams, of course, IU and Purdue, both the men and women in the tournament. So we're really excited about this. And before we get to Sean's projections on how his bracket is setting up, here's our Dave Calabro.
Hi, everybody. It is snowing in Indianapolis. That means it's tournament time. You know what I'm saying? IU and Purdue gearing up for basketball. This is Andy Patton, kind enough to join us from Locked On Podcasting with Tegna. We appreciate your time, man. I wanted to get an unbiased person to talk to me about IU and Purdue. All right. Tell me about Purdue. Can they make a run here? Who's going to stop the Boilermakers?
I think so. I think they can make a run. I think we've seen kind of as the year has gone on and as they kind of struggle towards the end of the year, we've seen some of the things that are issues for them. They don't handle pressure particularly well. And I think there are some teams in their region that could give them some issues. If I was Purdue, I'd be rooting heavily for Florida Atlantic in that 8-9 game. I think both those teams are very good, but Memphis in particular can put a lot of pressure on you. They have good guard play. And I think that's a matchup that could get a little sticky for the Boilermakers. But if they get past that, I like them against Duke. Duke's a very young team.
All right, let's switch gears to IU. They've been streaky, of course. We've seen the highs and lows of how they've been playing. How do you like their tournament run here?
This is not a great draw for Indiana. I think they're good enough to make it out of these 2 games into the Sweet 16, but there are some other matchups that I think would have favored the Hoosiers a little bit better. But if Jalen Hood-Schifino continues to play as well as he has the last few weeks and doesn't have any of those kind of mystifying bad games that we've seen from him, freshmen do that sometimes, but this is not the time for that. He needs to play well, and if he does, I think this team's got a good chance of making it to the Sweet 16.
Thank you. Andy Patton, thank you for the information, and enjoy tournament time. Let's go, all right?
Yes, thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Dave, thanks so much. So I got my bracket done. I've got Purdue in the Final Four. Okay. I've got IU losing to Houston in the Sweet 16, though I would love to see IU beat Houston and Kelvin Sampson in that Sweet 16 and move on to the Elite Eight. You know, we'll see.
What he said is what I'm worried about with Purdue, and that's Memphis.
Right.
I'm worried about them. I think that could be a big stumbling block.
Okay.
I have IU I think I put them in the Elite Eight.
Good. Okay.
And he's right. If Schifino plays like that, and they're locked in defensively, man, they could make a run.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
I think I went, again, subject to change.
Of course,
a couple of days,
course.
Right? I have a couple of more days to be wrong on this. I ended up going Arizona, Tennessee, Texas, Gonzaga, Zag's cutting the nets down.
Zag's doing it. Okay.
Zag's cutting the nets.
I've got UConn winning the whole thing.
Yeah,
so
of
we'll
course,
see. We'll see how
every
it
single Final
goes.
Four team I have probably
Right.
will go out on the first day or second day.
Now, I think on the women's side, IU's been fantastic all year. I think they win the national championship.
I think they have a very strong case.
Yeah.
South Carolina is very good.
they're
though.
really
That's
good.
the problem. South
Yep,
Carolina
yep.
is, you know, it would be something special, but IU has played tremendous.
Yeah, and they've had big crowds this year, so
Yes.
they'll be at Assembly Hall to kick things off. All right, let's go ahead and tell you what people are saying. Mary saying Kentucky plays in Indy. Is that Indy doesn't have a opening round game? Do they?
Don't think so. Let's see. I think that game is it's in Greensboro, Kentucky.
Yeah, okay.
In Greensboro.
Maybe Mary wants Kentucky. Maybe that's
Okay.
what Mary's talking about.
I had him.
Ralph's down in Alabama. I think Ralph's a Notre Dame fan.
Okay.
But living in Alabama. So Crimson Tide, I mean, they're going to be a team that you're going to have to watch, right?
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
mean, and Auburn is actually playing in Birmingham despite the fact that they're an 8 seed. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, a lot of
if they
Tiger
can-
fans
yeah.
probably rolling in for that. Victoria saying hello, Sean and Swan. Sherry joining us. Good evening to you. Teresa's back with us. Monica saying hi, Sean and Swan. So we've got lots of folks joining us here on social media. Let us know who you think is going to win the tournament, and let us know what your bracket looks like. So, all right, so it's a snow globe out in downtown Indianapolis right now. People waking up tomorrow, what's it going to be
Yeah,
like?
we'll still have some of this.
Yeah.
But from the Department of, it could be way worse.
Okay, right.
Albany, New York, which is where IU eventually is heading,
Right.
under a winter storm warning until 8 a.m. Wednesday to the tune of 10 to locally 20 inches
Oh, my gosh.
of snowfall.
All right.
So it could be worse. Now, coming up tonight at 11, we've got to talk about our warm day that we
Okay.
have, and we've got to talk about St. Patrick's Day. And we got to talk about next weekend.
Oh, gosh. All right.
Okay.
Well, again,
That's a little tease there, if
He
you will.
mentioned we've got a cold day, we've got a warm day, we've
yeah.
got some rain,
Yeah.
got
And
a
we got
lot to
more
talk
snow
about.
showers, too.
All right.
Yes.
All right. For Sean, I'm Swan. Thanks so much for joining us here at 10 o'clock. Back with you tomorrow night, and of course, we'll be with you on 13 News at 11. Good night.